Welcome to the What the Fuck America podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm annoyed as fuck. We're talking about these stupid-ass feminist dumb bitches. I am on the side of Islam now. Fuck women, they don't get rights anymore. This is bullshit. And we're talking about Mexico and the illegal immigration and the crisis down there. I am Jake, along with Matt, and yeah.
In the words of the infamous Jim Ross, it's going to be a fucking slobber knocker right now.
All right. So, I guess we'll start with hopefully what will be the short one. We'll talk about, let's see, let's get her name back up here on my screen so I can figure out what the hell is happening. Oh, God. Oh, no. What's going on? I've lost it.
I have to man my mute button because my family's being insanely loud.
How dare that? See, women shouldn't have rights. All right, episode canceled. We're done and over with here.
Now I'm going to be grounded. Great.
All right, so Sarah Everard was walking home in UK. She was murdered. So I'm going to read a quick little story here. On the 3rd of March, 33-year-old Sarah Everard was walking back from her apartment after leaving her friend's house in Clapham neighborhood of London around 9 p.m. Everard wore bright clothes and shoes she could run in, took the long route with well-lit and populated area, and even checking in with her boyfriend to let him know she was leaving. But that wasn't enough. Wayne Cozen, a 48-year-old London police officer. Now, he was not on duty. He was just a London police officer who happened to be a cunt. Kidnapped and murdered Everard on her way back home. Everard's remains were found in a wooded area around 50 miles from where she was last seen. And then on Saturday, they ended up doing a vigil and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So obviously tragic. Whenever anyone dies of unnatural causes, or they're fat as fuck and they die, it's a relatively tragic thing, and death is always often very sad. Not trying to shit on Sarah. I'm shitting on the response to Sarah. So,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See, even the police in the UK have issues, bro.
Yep.
It's okay.
So, I was on Instagram, and I should probably just cancel this app, just like I did Facebook many moons ago. But I saw so much posting. There's one that says, "I deserve to be safe." No, you don't. No. You don't hear men complaining about being the majority of murders, the majority of workplace deaths, the majority of combat deaths, the majority of, we just accept our lot in life that we're cannon fodder and we are born to die. Like, it's as simple as that. And so, he's telling me to keep going. He's dealing with some stuff. I'll kind of continue to rant as always. This shouldn't be considered normal. We shouldn't feel like we have to do this in order to be safe, which is holding keys like a Wolverine claw. When, I as a man walk down the street just like a woman would, and I am cautious about men just like I'm cautious about people, just like anyone should. So then they go on about all this other bullshit. So I found this one that really set me off, and we're going to get into this one. So whenever you hear people say, "Oh, I fucking hate all men," you always have those guys that reply, "Not all men." Well, this post says, quote, "Not all men," unquote. Okay, let me clarify exactly which men are a part of the problem. And this is a long list of 67. 67.
And here comes the slobber knocker.
Yes. So, men who murder, men who rape, the guy who doesn't care that she wasn't feeling it because he bought her dinner and deserves something, the incels, The domestic abusers, molesters, the gropers, the grabbers, the starers, the ones who follow a lone woman off public transportation the ones who think following a lone woman off public transport is the start of an epic romance. The slut shamers, the victim blamers, the one who makes rape jokes, the ones who let rape jokes slide, the ones who look the other way on a night out because it's none of my business, the ones who shout from cars, the ones who think catcalling is a compliment, the ones who do not want to have this conversation right now, the ones who think this is too political, the ones who think we are too angry about this, the flashers, the ones who send unsolicited dick pics, the give us a smile love ones, the ones who laugh at women going places in groups, the ones who try and get women drunk so they're less likely to put up a fight, the ones who don't see a problem with that, the ones who say it's just a joke, the ones who say boys will be boys, the ones who don't say anything, the ones who are more upset about the issue being raised than they are about the issue itself, the ones who say or think women deserve to be raped or assaulted, the ones who think no is just the start of negotiations, the ones who touch women unnecessarily in ways they'd never touch a man, the ones who make light of situations because they feel uncomfortable discussing something that is actually a matter of life and death, the ones who bring up false allegations to discredit all women, the ones who take pride in their body count, the ones who think women should give, quote, nice guys a try, the ones who say feminism has gone too far, the ones who think feminism means they get to hit a girl, because as we all know, equal rights, equal fights, ladies. The ones who post game analyze a girl's body, the ones who pit girls against other girls for their own gain, the ones who make period comments, the ones who say, "Are you done now?" after you express any opinion, the ones who don't consent or don't understand consent, the ones who refuse to take any responsibility for contraception, the ones who make girls feel guilty for asking them to wear a condom, the ones who secretly remove condoms, the ones who think blue balls are a medical condition, the ones who treat girls like part of a game, the ones who think stalking is a love language, the ones who take disinterest as a fun challenge, the ones who feel attacked by this list instead of ashamed, the ones who shared nudes meant for only them, the ones who like girls to be smaller than them because they like to be in control, the ones who are secretly scared of being falsely accused, they're the ones who are really scared of being falsely accused, sorry. The ones who discuss female bodies with their friends, ideals and turn-offs, interesting. The ones who rank girls, we're almost done, last page. The ones who want a girl to be tight. All right. The one who, I didn't get to this last page when I was, anyway. The ones who think they are owed sex for whatever reason. The ones who say it's just being friendly. The ones who tailgate women on the motorway. All right. The ones who talk about women being legal, or girls being legal. The ones who bring up male victims of sexual violence like it's a gotcha moment, even though 93% of perpetrators of sexual violence against men are men, because, rape in prisons is a thing. But they don't care any other time, except when it's discrediting women's experience. The ones who complain on International Women's Day about there not being an International Men's Day. There is. It's November 19th, apparently. Don't know or care about that. The ones who think we are being hysterical and overreacting. The ones who dismiss the conversation. The ones who roll their eyes at this post. And finally, the ones who disrupt a necessary conversation with not all men. And at the very end, it says, no, not all men, but probably you.
Well,
So,
I would never want to be falsely accused. So yeah, that in these times, I would be terrified to be falsely accused. So if that makes me some kind of fucking asshole, cool. Fuck
yep.
you.
Yep.
Also, what the fuck does tight mean?
Oh,
Are we talking about like a tight vagina?
Yep.
a tight body, a
Apparently,
tight fucking face,
apparently, not wanting your girl to be a slut is a bad thing.
or or is it tight like yo, she's tight, yo.
It could be that. It could be that. Um, so, a couple of things wrong with this list.
I think
Uh,
that list is fucking stupid.
yeah, number one thing being that's literally all men in existence. That's literally all of them. So when they say, "Oh, it's all men," they quite literally mean it's all men. It's just the stupidest thing ever. So whenever men get defensive, it's not all men, and then they get mad that they're saying, "It's just stupid," and I fucking hate it. So here's my solution
Which, just
to
remember, a man helped create the person who wrote that list.
yes,
Just
yes.
saying. So
So
there
there
you
was
go.
actually a very funny thing recently. It was Chelsea Clinton complaining that her grandmother didn't have access to Planned Parenthood.
Why? Because her father's a fucking moron.
Well, she's essentially complaining that she's alive because if her grandmother had access to Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton would have never been born. So I mean, I'm with Chelsea Clinton on this one, man. You know, she's got some valid points. So
Oh,
so here's my quick little rant. It's not going to be quick because I'm annoyed about this.
slobber knocker number 2.
My quick little rant about how to make women safe. You can't. That's the end of the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
It was fun.
But in all seriousness, you can't. You can't. They are the smaller, weaker sex. That's just the truth of it. So, there's an old saying. God created men and women, or men and women. Smith and Wesson made them both equal. My solution to women feeling safe: get a gun. Get a gun, the great equalizer. And I have a very, very out there belief on this. We teach women when they hit high school age, it's a rape course. They essentially learn how to be raped, which sounds awful, but hear me out. They go through a course with a bigger and stronger woman than them that hopefully is not a lesbian, because, you know, then it could turn into actual rape, and we don't want that. So, they will teach them how to be raped. And I'm saying this a little bit incendiarily. They will teach them how to be raped. What I mean by that is how to remain cool and calm under pressure. Because what I want these girls to do, they are the judge, they are the jury, they are the executioner. They're going to go through this rape course. They're going to learn how to remain calm under pressure while someone is violently attacking them. And then there will be, brief parameters of, let's say you're running in the park and a guy tackles you to the ground. You don't get to just shoot him. Now, let's say that guy turns you over, starts ripping off your clothes. That's the point right there. You get to take that little ankle holster gun. You get to put 2 in his chest. Dead. Don't even care. Fuck him. Absolutely fuck him. Then you call the police. Say, yo, he was about to rape me. He was taking off my clothes. I did my civic duty and I put down a rapist. Simple as that. You will never, ever, ever be able to teach men that rape is bad because we know it. We know it's bad. We know murder is bad. We know sexual assault is bad.
But men do it anyway.
But men do it anyway. And you will
I mean,
never.
women do these things too, but men do it anyway.
But men aren't bitches about it. We calmly go on with our day and say, oh, man, that sucked.
Till they get caught. But, I don't know. I like the idea of a woman being able to defend herself in any means necessary to get out of that situation. However, uh,
when I
giving these people giving people this kind of power just opens up for a lot of kind of shitty things. You could have another Eileen Warnos on your fucking hands,
yeah
and I don't know if you know who that chick was, but she used to just lure dudes and fucking kill them. So
hey
there's that. And then she claimed rape on all of those things, but it was never, there was no one ever there to be like, oh yeah, she was raped, I saw it. So
yeah
it leaves that. And then you have to figure why. I know it really sucks, but I don't know if there's really a solution.
there isn't other than women need to learn how to defend themselves.
Yeah.
That's the
Like,
only solution.
teach some of that Israeli fucking police fighting shit,
Fuck yeah,
or
some
that
Krav
fucking
Maga, some
some
fucking
fucking
jujitsu.
jujitsu, or some fucking Wing Chun
That's
fucking crazy shit.
that's essentially what
Not
I
Wing
mean.
Chun, because like there was
Fuck the
only one
Chinese.
Bruce Lee, and fuck them. Yeah,
But that's essentially what I mean when I say a rape course. They will learn self defense, and then they will go through and they actually have these things. They actually have rape courses that they teach,
yeah.
where
Oh
you'll be
yeah.
jogging in a park, and then some dude will come and tackle you,
It's
and
not
you have to
how to
defend.
get. Yeah, but it's not how to get raped.
I know, I
It's
know. I was
it's
saying
how
that
to
to be
it's
an
how to
asshole.
defend yourself against
I
a
was saying that
possible
to be an
raping.
asshole.
Yeah, I know what you were doing, you son of a bitch. Jesus, but your mom's really nice though, so I don't mean that. But anyway, yeah, dude, that's pretty nuts. And like I said, people be like, "Oh, well, he was a cop, no wonder." But
Yep.
everybody's human, man.
People
Well,
are
except
assholes, and then there are
yeah,
really asshole people.
yeah. And I don't think we're ever gonna get out of that. I think
No,
that's always gonna be.
the
It's
line
always
of
gonna be.
evil runs through the heart of every man.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
well said. That's well said. Good
Um,
job.
but so yeah, I truly believe once girls hit high school age, they go through self defense courses. I think that should not. I don't like the government typically getting involved in things, but I really think you should absolutely teach young girls how to defend themselves from bigger, stronger, faster, more evil assholes in this world. Because you'll never be able to legislate not rape. Essentially, you can
Yeah.
write 1,000,000,000 laws on the books about rape and it being illegal. It's never going to stop unless you learn how to defend yourself from it. Make yourself someone who is not a target. Make yourself someone who will never be a victim.
And rapists don't care. Like, people
No.
who are like sick like that, they don't give a shit either way. So,
Yep.
I mean, even if it can be stopped, I don't think if you can stop the act, sure, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to see it where, because those people don't care, and you can't just lump every man into it. I would never think of raping a woman.
But hey, man,
Are you
not all
kidding me?
men, except,
Or a dude.
yeah, I don't want to rape. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
actually, I can think of 2 justifiable reasons to rape.
I don't know if you want to go down that road
I'm
right
going
now.
down that road. Hear me out.
Oh God,
Hear me
okay.
out.
I'll listen.
Last man and woman on earth.
Uh, well, the human race is fucked anyway, because once you have one kid, then the rest of the kids will have to be all incesty and gross
That's
and
true.
weird.
That's
You don't
true, I
want to
guess.
do that. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's not
guess.
good
I guess.
anytime, bro.
Well,
It's
hey,
not good
morality
anytime.
morality is what you make it then.
And then
Because what's she
what if
gonna
they're
do?
like,
Just kidding.
and then what if your idea, she's a person that listened to this god awful podcast we
Yeah.
do, and just goes, "Oh, I'm gonna carry a motherfucking gun in
And
case
I'm
some
gonna go
dude wants
find
to
him,
rape
and
me."
I'm gonna fucking throw
And then
myself off a bridge and find him
yeah,
again.
yeah, and then you're the dude and she's the chick that are the last people on earth, and you go to rape her and she puts one in your dick, and then you're fucked.
Yeah, I guess that'd be
And then
justified.
your chances of
I will
finding
die
some
on that.
random woman on the earth.
I will die on that principle of judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
um,
No, I
but
agree. It would be good to give someone that kind of stuff, but like I said, man, that's how
it
serial
could
killers are
definitely
born.
be abused. Yeah, yeah. But then I also often make the joke. So the
And what 16-year-old girl can make fucking decisions for themselves?
yeah, well, they
What
wouldn't get the gun
year
till
old in
21.
general?
They wouldn't get
Oh,
the gun till 21.
well, then
Um,
you'd see you just took all the fun right out of it.
yeah, yeah. Um, but even then, they can't drink and have a gun, so it wouldn't be useful for. And honestly, a big part of it too is personal responsibility, something that's deeply, deeply, deeply lacking in culture in general. Um,
Totally, totally.
I mean, one of the ones was buying a woman more drinks because you feel it'll be less likely of a fight back. How about she just doesn't drink all the drinks then? Simple as
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to make yourself not a victim. Make
But
yourself.
there's assholes, man. I know that's not the point of this, but
Oh yeah,
I
yep.
have to I have to be the little devil on the other shoulder that you have and just be like, there's assholes. There's people that put shit in drinks, you
I,
know?
I as a well,
How many times have we been roofied? Have you been roofied? I've been
I
roofied.
I've
You've
been
been
roofied.
roofied,
Yes.
you know?
Let me tell you, ladies, not a fun experience, and you feel very. I make jokes about it because that's the way I deal with shit. But
Oh,
yes,
you're one of those guys. You're one of
yeah.
those rapists.
Oh God. Oh no.
You're one of those rapists because you make jokes because you're fucking upset about what happened.
Yep. So yes,
We're on the list.
yep, we're on the list.
Fuck.
But yeah, no, I agree. But what I'm saying is like make yourself not victimable, if that's a word. But then they
Don't
also,
victimize yourself.
yeah, one of the MPs suggested a 6 p.m. curfew for all men,
Mm.
and that goes back to you cannot legislate your way out of rape. It's just not going to happen. So
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
let's say it's 5:59, and you're walking home, and you see a dude, and he's following a woman. Then it becomes 6 p.m., and he just throws her to the ground and starts taking clothes off of her. Let's say you walk over there and you tell him, "Hey, did you know rape is bad?" You think he's just going to stop? Do you think he just didn't know his whole life that taking someone's precious flower is a bad thing? Like there's the stupidity of these people. Oh, you got to teach boys. You got to teach boys from a young age. It doesn't matter what you teach them. The assholes will be assholes. And that's
Also,
that.
if you're out there and you're thinking of raping someone, you should probably call some sort of hotline and get help for your stupid mental problem.
Absolutely.
Also, if I think though, if someone was to walk up on somebody that was doing the raping, I think the person raping the other person would probably stop and go either ape shit crazy and try to kill both of you, or just
Yeah.
try to run away. And then
Yeah, but dude,
there's that.
you gotta chase them down and tell them that it's bad. You need to teach them it's bad.
Well, you got to run at them and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. Get off of her or him or whatever thing you're doing.
All right,
Get out of there.
You spent enough on this stupid feminism bullshit.
Rape.
Teach women.
I don't know why you keep going down this feminist road, dude. I'm telling you, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to work for you. Your brain, it's not going to work.
My whole soiree into politics started because of SJWs, social justice warriors, and a big part of that shit was feminism. And it was fucking bullshit then, and it's extra bullshit now. It's fucking, what in the chicken fried fuck is this?
Well, I mean, we did it. We live here. We live here. We allowed it to happen. All right.
See, this is why Islam is right about women. Take away all their rights.
See, I'm not totally convinced that was like Islam's thing. I mean, don't you think it was more like cover your face? I don't want some guy seeing you and you thinking it's okay to go fuck him.
I mean, if when you look at some of the things in Islam, it's a very male-centric society. Like
it's all about war.
As a woman in court, your opinion is worth half of a man. So, like, if you see something happening in Sharia, or if you're in Sharia court, which is what they have, and you see someone get murdered, your opinion as a woman only counts as half that of a man. So that's kind of a interesting thing, to say the least. But anyways, let's talk about this border bullshit. So we're going to talk about quite a lot of things about this border.
Are we going to go to Mexico?
We're going to Mexico, which
Sweet.
in 2016 was the third most dangerous country.
The third, you say?
Yeah, the third most dangerous.
Oh, from all of the refugees or the immigrants?
From all the, drug cartels and the corruption
runaways
of the government.
Oh,
so first, let's talk about one of the main things is
those motherfuckers.
Those motherfuckers. Yeah,
I'm gonna just say that if you think what's happening down at the border is wrong, you can go down there and you could go say to those people, it's okay. We're here to help you. And when they fucking stab you in your fucking dick hole, you'll be very upset. They call these motherfuckers coyotes for a reason.
Yep.
There's a reason. There's a reason why the children get separated from the adults. There's a reason why everybody gets detained.
The thing is, they were doing DNA testing at the border. 30% of the children that come across the border with parents, quote unquote parents, 30% of those children are not related to those parents.
Oh yeah, I know that. So, yeah, that's where I was going with it. That's what I was thinking. I was sitting there, and you look at it, and all these people, they get so upset because they say, "Oh, this is inhumane." What the fuck is inhumane about it? When you go to another country, it's the same exact thing.
Yep. I mean, look at Mexico's immigration laws.
You can't just take your happy, stupid self and go to fucking Canada and show them your passport and go, here I come, Canada. I'm on fucking vacation, or I'm going to come up here and fucking take a job. You know what happens? They fucking go through all your shit. They go through your car. They run your fucking ID. They make sure you're not a goddamn felon. And it doesn't even matter if you've been in if you've committed felony or not, or been charged with anything, as long as you've been arrested, like a DUI. Is a DUI a felony, Jake, in the state of Wisconsin?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So a felony, all right, you can't even have a DUI to go to Canada. So what the fuck is wrong with all of you motherfucking idiots?
Yep.
So that's okay though. It's okay though. It's okay though. It's okay. The Mexicans will come here and it's fine because don't worry, no terrorists, no gangsters, no rapists, no mean people are going to come over. They're all very hard work. And I will say this, I've known a lot of guys that did come from Mexico to come to work. I know a lot of guys. They're very hardworking people. They do right by their families. They send money home. They do what they got to do to survive.
Well, I actually was looking up statistics. 82% of Mexicans are Roman Catholic.
Of course.
So they have pretty decent quote-unquote family values.
They name their kids Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, this this border bullshit. If
That's Jesus in Spanish.
if any of you want a really good video, there's a guy named Razor, because this is just going to be some bullshit things I've pulled up. But if you want a really impassioned speech about the border, look up a guy named Razor Fist. He lives in Arizona. He's been into Mexico. It's like a 12 or 13-minute video, I think. It's really really good video to get a really good, impassioned, heartfelt, um, you know, gist of
I
what
got a
what
lot
is.
of passion. Not for the border though.
Yeah,
I'm fucking annoyed with it. I'm annoyed with all this shit. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck if the people coming into this country are fucking upset because of the way people are coming into this country. If you don't like the way it's done,
yep.
try going to a different fucking country and do it easier. If you think it's so fucking easy, we have one of the most non-existent immigrant fucking, immigration fucking policies. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, actually, there
Yeah.
was
If
there
you
was talk
you
about
know to go
making it.
to
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was
Uh,
gonna say to go to fucking New Zealand, you have to have like thousands of dollars in a bank account so they know your ass is gonna leave.
oh yeah, didn't your ex? She
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She went to freaking New Zealand. She went all over the freaking world, man. And you gotta have money in your account because people don't want you fucking sleeping in their goddamn, you know,
yep.
porta potties and shit and train stations. Fuck.
So the U.S. actually has a fairly easy, um, or it's kind of stringent, um, but there were talks of making it easier so that way, like on the path to citizenship, like people who are here illegally, making it a little bit easier so that way they're not, second class citizens essentially for fucking 18 years. But a funny thing that you mentioned is Canada. So when Trump got elected, all these motherfuckers that were like, oh, if Trump wins the presidency, I'm leaving the fucking United States. They all went and saw Canada's immigration. They were like, oh shit, maybe this is a little fucked up. So we're going to go ahead and get into some of these articles. There's a shit ton of them. Yeah, we're just going to get into this bullshit. So one article here is the financial burden of illegal immigration on the United States taxpayer. And before you say, oh, they took our jobs, we're going to also talk about the real costs of corporate welfare, meaning the money that also gets sent to corporations by the taxpayers from government. Key highlights, we're not going to read that. We're going to read the number of legal immigrants in the U.S. So, estimating the fiscal burden of illegal immigration on the United States taxpayer depends on the size and characteristics of the illegal alien population. FAIR defines illegal alien as anyone who has entered the United States without authorization and anyone who unlawfully remains once his/her authorization has expired. Fortunately, the United States government has no central database containing information on citizenship status of everyone lawfully present in the United States. The overall problem of estimating the illegal alien population is further complicated by the fact that the majority of available sources on immigration status rely on self-reported data. Given the illegal aliens have a motive to lie about their immigration status in order to avoid discovery, the accuracy of these statistics is dubious at best. Of all the foregoing issues that make it very difficult to assess the current illegal alien population of the United States. However, FAIR now estimates that there are approximately 12.5 million legal alien residents. This number uses FAIR's previous estimate but adjusted for suspected changes in levels of unlawful migration based on information available from the Department of Homeland Security, data available from other federal and state government agencies, and other research studies from universities and all this other bullshit. So, the cost of illegal immigration on the United States. At the federal, state, and local levels, taxpayers shell out approximately $134.9 billion to cover the costs incurred by the presence of more than 12.5 million illegal aliens and about 4.2 million citizen children of illegal aliens. The amount of the tax burden of approximately $8,000 per legal alien family member and a total of 116 billion, we'll call it. The total cost of illegal immigration to the U.S. taxpayer is both staggering and crippling. In 2013, FAIR estimated the total cost to be approximately 113 billion. So in under 4 years, the cost has risen nearly 3 billion. So then they do a little breakdown. The federal cost is 45.8 billion. The local and state cost is 88.9, with the total national cost at 134.8. Let's see. So total tax contributions by illegal aliens. So in total, they've paid about 18 billion, I think it is. So then the total national cost minus the tax paid is about 116 billion. So then they go into a little bit of the details there about federal, state, and local. So all in all, about 116 billion, we'll call it, right? That sound like a pretty good number?
Works for me.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Yeah. It's not awful.
Why not? They fucking hand out all this money to freaking Sri Lanka.
Yeah, for speedboats, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have to freaking send money to Pakistan for prophylactics and shit.
Yep.
When all the white men here in America fucking trick ladies and take them off while they're not looking.
Yeah.
Prophylactics are condoms, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, see? Fuck, man. I'm fucking smarter than these bitches. Sorry.
Right.
I'm a little wound up.
That's all right. So
Got my
now
Diet Pepsi.
so just so that way we're not shitting on we're not just saying this because we hate the Mexicans. We're saying this because one, that's tax money that shouldn't be going to people who are here illegally, but also we have calculating the real cost of corporate welfare. A popular new article from the far left lefties at Common Dreams frighteningly warned that American families pay on average $6,000 per year in corporate welfare to the dreaded big business. There's plenty to like in this article, and its general theme, hardworking American taxpayers forced by big government to line the pockets of large, well-connected corporations, certainly warrants more bipartisan attention and criticism. I'm also happy to see that not everyone on the left has abandoned their distaste for corporate subsidies now that there are subsidy-loving guys in the White House like me. I think I read that right. Anyways, so perhaps unsurprisingly, Common Dreams, criticism, and math do even, fuck, I can't read over on this screen. Fuck this. All right, Matt, you're going away. I'm sorry. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Common Dreams, criticism, and math do eventually veer into confused anti-business mumbo-jumbo, but here's what they got right. The Cato Institute estimates that the federal government spends $100 billion a year on corporate welfare. That's on average $876 for each of Americans' 115 million families. This is definitely and deeply and depressingly correct. As I noted in my 2012 Cato paper on the global subsidy reform, the U.S. government provides myriad taxpayers, myriad, that's the word, taxpayer-funded benefits to agribusinesses, green energy, automobile manufacturers, and a whole host of other U.S. businesses. Even worse, the 100 billion figure is up significantly, about 10 billion over the last two budgets. Let's see. A New York Times investigation found that state, counties, and cities give up over 80 billion each year to companies, so around $700 for every U.S. family. Again, 100% correct. And that is actually one area in which state competition harms taxpayers, as politicians from different states compete with each other to woo corporations by offering them buckets of other people's monies. Let's see. The Tax Foundation has concluded that their special tax provision costs taxpayers over $100 billion per year, or $870 per family. So let's see, because that just goes back into how the graduated corporation income inventory. So another just bullshit amount of money. They also include all green energy tax breaks quietly thrown into last year's fiscal cliff deal. So if you add all these together, you see that the federal government, state government, and local government forces American families to give, on average, $2,436 per year to companies that certainly do not need handouts. So that's $2,400. That could go a long way for most families. American families spend around $6,000 per year on food. And yeah, so it's just a bunch of bullshit. Just a bunch of bullshit that we give to corporations that don't need it, to illegal Mexican immigrants that don't need it, and just a whole host of wasteful spending that the government likes to do. And that's per year. So if you add all that up, that's 180, so almost $300 billion a year that go to corporations that don't need money from us. Added in with the $100 billion from illegal immigration, that's $400 billion a year that the U.S. taxpayers don't need to spend. So, yeah.
I agree. I'm trying to look at, remember before we started recording, we were talking about the Mexico's poverty line and all that, or the
It's
percentage
40,
or whatever.
Yeah, 42%.
Yeah, it's insane. I get it. You want to go somewhere where things will be better for you and you can make money and this and that, but I got to tell you, America, while we're not horribly off, the in 2021 alone, our income numbers are below what they're usually used to calculate eligibility for fucking Medicaid and healthcare for kids and fucking shit like that. Like, that's this year, 2021. So, like, all those people, like, I was just reading an article while you were talking, not reading it, I was paying attention to what you were saying, but there's an article I have here that's talking about, in February alone, 30,000 unaccompanied minors were crossing this border. Just minors, unaccompanied minors. That's what I think is, maybe these numbers are getting a little fucky, because, I mean, yeah, it's the New York Post, and really, do you believe anything on the New York Post? But that's a big number, and it says, like, it even says here, it says, 1 month total in February is nearly as high as the count of unaccompanied minors in the entire year of 2020, and is 5 times higher than the 5,871 unaccompanied minors in January, which itself was an increase from 4,995 in December. So,
yeah. Well, and that's what they actually went down to the border and asked these people why they're coming now. And I could tell you exactly why. So, Biden came into office and got rid of the Remain in Mexico policy, which says you have to remain in Mexico, but we will process you. He froze deportations, with Texas ended up fighting and can now legally deport people again. He brought back catch and release, which means, hey, if we catch you, we get to process you, and then we throw you back into America instead of Mexico. And he proposed a mass amnesty bill for all 100 or 12.5 million immigrants, but not in, tomorrow. It was in 8 years when he's quote unquote out of office. So, I mean, when you do a complete reversal of Donald Trump's policies, which on average, I think he had around 800 people a day. Let's just call it an even 1,000. He had an even 1,000 people a day walk across that border, Donald Trump did, because they knew you're not coming to America. You're getting put back in Mexico, and c'est la vie. And Biden just came and flipped that completely. They know, hey, if we get caught, we're going to get processed and thrown back into America. We can't be deported because they're freezing deportations, as well as it's completely insane. It's completely insane to the sheer hypocrisy that happened on the border. And let me tell you what the border is. And this goes back to that video. That video that Razorfist did. He did it so beautifully. The border is a pressure relief valve. When you take, and here's an article, we'll go into this article in a second. When you take the third most dangerous country from a 2016 study, the poverty line, the people that are below that is 42%. You have massive government corruption. You have cartels that run everything. When you combine all that, it's a powder keg. It is ready to explode. If you don't have a safe and secure border and you will let anyone walk across it, you're never going to have that revolution, because people can always go and leave to America. They can always go to greener pastures. They can always come here and be a vote farm for fucking Democrats or fucking low-wage work for the goddamn big corporations what the left despises, or they used to at least. So both sides are at fault with this. You have these fucks that pay homage to the border every 4 years, and they don't ever fix it because it's a constant issue they can campaign on. It's a constant issue that they can look to their voters and say, I want to fix this issue for you. But they never do it because it's something they can constantly harp on, and it's a vote farm for really everybody. It's just when you have that amount of corruption, crime, and poverty in a country that is rich in oil, it's enough to make your mind explode. It's enough to make your mind explode and wonder why the fuck no one will actually do what should be done. And what should be done, weld shut the fucking border and make immigration easier to be done. I just can't understand. And maybe we don't want as many immigrants from Europe, Asia, Russia, Africa, Australia, Mexico, South America. Maybe we don't want a shit ton of immigrants. But at least this way we can control what comes in. Because as we found out today, 4 people matching terror watch lists arrested at the U.S. border. Like, really? So do you have that story pulled up, or you want me to take her?
We do have that story. If I can, oh yeah, right here. This article I'm going to read from is from the Washington Examiner. Okay. The headline reads, and be very careful when you read headlines. Read the actual article if you're going to read headlines, because
they always will put the truth about 10 paragraphs down.
Yeah, headlines really make you go, oh my God. Like if they, back in like a year ago there, Trump says this, and you read the freaking article and it's nothing. It's like regurgitating a story that led up to him saying you're stupid. But anyway,
whenever they say unnamed sources, you know it's
yeah.
bullshit.
Well, and the other thing, it's funny because most of the time isn't there something in the media where like they have to verify sources, like, or you have to have 3
You need
sources or
3
something like that.
sources. Yep.
Yeah,
But
and
the past
these
fucking 4 years, it's been a source familiar with Trump's thinking, or a source familiar with the call, or a source. It's like, are you fucking and people? I get it. It's the media. You're supposed to trust the media. Fucking think for your goddamn self. Like, holy fuck. If you came up to me and you said some guy was just out there talking about you, I would have been like, who? You would have just been like, oh, some anonymous source. Okay, that doesn't mean dick to me.
it's almost like, what's the point of even telling you?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
part of the reason could be to lie because the media are a bunch of fucking astronomical cunts.
astronomical. Yeah, no, but you see what I mean. You just said that, and that's a headline, baby.
Yep.
That's the headline, right?
Some
All right.
asshole
So,
called the media
yeah,
astronomical cunts.
yeah. So hours after Democrats accused Kevin McCarthy of lying about terrorists crossing the border, CBP confirms it to Congress. And basically, um, U.S. Customs and Border Control have confirmed that 4 individuals on the terror watch list have been apprehended crossing the southern border hours after House Democrats slammed House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy for warning about the threat, which basically you got a bunch of shit for saying that terrorists were going to come over. And they did. Because what happens when you relax your passport checking and the people that you wouldn't do that. What if they had COVID?
Well, 108.
Maybe
Look, I'm going to pull up this story.
I'm just saying, what if there was a little bit more precaution when people were coming into the country? You think we'd all have COVID? Stupid. I don't even believe it.
So here we go. I'm going to see if I can find it.
But anyway, they did. They arrested 3 people from Yemen and 1 dude from Serbia, and they are all on the FBI's terrorism watch list. And they all were arrested. Well, that all those arrests happened between October 1st and now. So,
Yep.
this shit's been going on, man. And for people to be like, oh, just chill out, let everybody in, you're just begging for just begging for it. You're begging for it.
108 illegal immigrants were released by Border Patrol in Texas after positive coronavirus test. So they actually just recently released 108 coronavirus positive people
into the country.
Yep.
Oh boy, that's wonderful, because is there enough vaccine for all the morons who want the vaccine? But we have enough to start supplying a whole nother country full of fucking people with it? Fuck off.
Yep. So now let's talk about the price of a border wall. So wall price tag tops $11 billion.
Yeah. Are we reading the Newsmax article?
So the price tag for Donald Trump's I'm going to pull it over again so I don't have to crane my neck over there.
Yeah.
Let's see. The price tag for Donald Trump's border wall has become the most expensive barrier of its kind in the world, NPR reported. According to news outlets, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which oversees wall construction, said in a status report last week that $11 billion has been identified since Trump took office to construct 576 miles of new border wall system. Let's see. But the Trump administration is seeking far more. The Department of Homeland Security has asked the Defense Department to come up with money for 270 additional miles of border wall that the DHS says is needed to block drug smuggling routes on federal land. The Pentagon is studying the request, whose price has not been yet announced. All right. If the Trump administration completes all its wall projects, 3/4 of the southern border would have been walled off from Mexico. NPR reported the government inherited about 650 miles of border structures erected under President War Criminal and President Wiretap, which are George Bush and Barack Obama, respectively. Trump bragged at a Milwaukee rally that the wall is going up at a record speed. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. NPR reported Trump's wall costs $20 million a mile. So $20 million a mile. The border wall system will include 150-foot enforcement zone, lighting cameras, all that fancy jazz. So, $20 billion a mile. So we talked about the price of the cost of illegal immigrants on the United States taxpayer, which is we'll just call it 100 billion. And then the price of corporations getting money from the taxpayers, which is 300 billion. So a total cost of $400 billion a year. So realistically, what we should do is get rid of all these corporate tax subsidies, get rid of all this illegal immigration, every single illegal immigrant kicked out the country. I know it sounds harsh and rude, but it's illegal. So I looked it up. There's around 1,933 miles of border wall, or of border, the entire southern border. 1,933 miles. So if you multiply that by the 20 million, comes out to around $380.5 billion. So we'll just round up to $40 billion. I don't know about you, but $40 billion for a one-time expense sounds a lot better than $100 billion every fucking year, which will continue to grow every year if we don't stop illegal immigration.
And then think of all the jobs that would create because you have all that wall that needs to be upkept and patrolled and maintained and all that junk, man. That's creating like 100,000 jobs easy right there. That's bringing America together, and the article that we're reading from even says that $11 billion is approaching the price of a nuclear powered aircraft carrier. We have those.
Yep.
But we're also sending $1 billion to another country to buy.
No, they didn't get $1 billion for speedboats.
They just got a bunch of speedboats.
Yeah, Sri Lanka I think got 10 million for speedboats, and I think Egypt got $1 billion for who the fuck knows.
Pakistan got a bunch of money for birth control.
Yep, and gender studies.
Gender studies is birth control, basically, right?
Yep.
It's just very strange. It's just very strange to me that there's politicians that are all about America and wanting to keep people safe, yet they don't want to spend the money on that. We want to spend the money on bringing more assholes in. There's already not enough jobs for people to go around right now, right? Well, no jobs that people want to do, right? And that's what's happening. Isn't that what they're getting us used to?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that some of these small businesses that were shut down during this whole fake pandemic bullshit, I hope some of them are able to take whatever breadcrumbs the government decided to give us and help themselves, help themselves, maybe stay open, stick it to the fucking man. Fuck you.
I gotta show you this image really quick. So that's the border wall, and they used fucking ladders to get their Jeep up and over. Hey man, that's some fucking ingenuity right there, man. I tell you.
It's exciting to see what people would do to come to this country, and then they get here and they realize that everybody is a racist.
A
Um,
sexist, a homophobe.
and now that's the other thing. I know we weren't going to talk about racism and all that shit tonight, but don't you find it interesting that the Democrats keep saying that we need to have segregation and this and that and groups in the colleges so that, white people can better understand their racism and
What's
black people
crazy
can better
is
understand their community. But then they're also the ones that are like, well, yeah, the Democrat part, we used to be like KKK members and fucking Nazi foot soldiers and shit like that, but it
yep.
changed. It changed. It's the Republicans
The
now, but
party switched. The party switched, man.
the
Fucking, that's what
parties
they always
really
say.
didn't switch. It's just more apparent now that the Republicans are fucking pussies with their hands in their pockets,
Yep.
and the fucking Democrats are fucking the boy who cried
Racists.
wolf and racists.
Yep.
You know, like,
I mean, there's a
and they
what
use their
college was that?
racism against you by like, come on, right? What all right, so I'm a fucking Star Wars nerd, right? What did Palpatine do? He fucking infiltrated the whole goddamn galaxy by becoming what? The
An
fucking
asshole.
chancellor. How did fuck did he do that? Oh yeah, he tricked the whole goddamn Jedi order. I mean, they're fucking morons anyway, but still,
Yep.
that's what
So
happened.
just to quick pull up a story here. Columbia University is an Ivy League school that is hosting 6 different graduation ceremonies this year based on things like income level, race, race, and ethnicity.
Wraith.
So yeah, they're bringing back segregation like it's good old Jim Crow Joe. What did he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle. So he's bringing that shit
No,
back,
he
man.
didn't. No,
He's doing it for us, baby. He's bringing
he
back
is.
that good old fucking 1950s racism with a hard R. He's doing
He
it
is.
for us, baby.
Yeah.
Fucking
He's
assholes.
he is a fucking asshole. And, it's funny because, he didn't want to bring his kids up in that, but his son is a victim of his awesome fucking uh, cocaine and
Oh yeah.
methamphetamine and,
He gets
and,
that good
and
old
crack
Peruvian
cocaine.
cocaine, baby.
Fucking A, man, that motherfucker. It's so funny that all this shit had come out about him and nobody wanted to say anything and they were all, oh no, it's not true. And then it comes out that it's all true.
Yep.
And where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is Hunter Biden,
Yep.
that piece of shit?
Is it, if Donald Trump's kid was being investigated for potential child porn on his laptop, pictures of him smoking crack, and
He would have been fucking hung in the center of fucking DC.
yep. But
Are you
also
fucking kidding?
the fact that we haven't heard anything about that investigation. We haven't heard anything about it. So the alleged president's son, because I'm not calling Joe Biden a president anymore.
The pretender to the throne of America.
Yes. I mean, Wisconsin declared that what was it called? What the fuck were those ballots called, man?
Fake ballots.
They weren't the absentee ballots.
The mail-in ballot.
No, it was the indefinitely confined. All those indefinitely confined ballots, Wisconsin just voted. Those were, huh?
The prisoners?
No. Like if you were indefinitely confined, you could request a ballot in Wisconsin. They ruled that coronavirus was not a reason you were considered indefinitely confined. So all those ballots that were cast, unconstitutional, did not count. Michigan, the Supreme Court in Michigan just said the mail-in ballots. Let me pull up that thing again. It was, oh, fuck, where did it go?
That's okay.
Judge declared in Michigan the absentee ballot guidance illegal. So most of those ballots probably legal also. So right there, Donald Trump just won Michigan and Wisconsin, which probably ended up causing him to win the presidency. Let's not also talk about the fact that They suppress this. It's
This whole episode's going to end up getting canceled and ripped off the internet because you just challenged the 2021 election or 2020 election, whatever it was. Whatever it was a fake smoke show bullshit.
Yep.
You might as well have been watching fucking wrestling because it was total fucking bullshit fake.
Yep.
So it's all good though. That's just the game that they play. But we got way off topic because tonight's episode's all about that border baby.
Yep. So let's talk about how Mexico is. Okay, no, we were talking about something. These fucks, both Republicans and Democrats, use it as a goddamn vote farm. And the Republicans, they use the illegal immigrants as fucking money for their big corporations because you don't have to pay them that $7 an hour minimum wage. And Democrats use them as fucking votes. So there's no reason to fix the border because they want to keep profiting off of it. It's just so stupid. So let's talk about how Mexico is the third most dangerous country. A study by a risk consultancy firm ranked Mexico near the top of the list of the world's most dangerous countries. The criminality index created by Versk Maplecroft evaluates the risk to people, businesses, and economies caused by violent crime in 198 countries. Afghanistan ranked behind only Afghanistan and Guatemala. The index looks for widespread prevalence of organized crime, drug trafficking, kidnapping, extortion, robbery, and other criminal activities that involve or lead to violence. Each country is given a numerical risk figure ranging from 10, which is the lowest risk, to T00, meaning high risk. All right. They also split its countries. It assesses into several risk profiles ranging from low to extreme. With a score of 1.17 points, the firm pronounced Mexico as extreme risk country. It identified the prevalence of drug trafficking or fucking. I gotta move the goddamn screen over again. I gotta stop doing that like a dumbass.
I don't know why you keep doing that. I'm looking at you, looking to the side. It does look kind of cool though. If we were filming, it'd be like, oh man, he looks so professional, you know. But yeah.
All right.
That was B-roll. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll cut that out in post, even though I won't at all. It identified the prevalence of drug trafficking organizations as a major driver of crime in Mexico. As seen as the hub for drug trafficking between South and North America, these criminal organizations engage in a constant turf war for the control of drug transportation routes and to consumers in developed economies. Additionally, the gangs are involved in kidnapping, extortion, and robbery, increasing the burden on businesses which have to increase their investment in security and other insurances in determinant to their productivity. That one fucking V-Risk Maplecroft, such a stupid name for a company, estimated that the cost of violence for Mexico during 2015 was, oh, look at this, $134 billion. Let's see.
Oh,
yeah,
really? That much?
Yeah. Let's see. With a homicide rate of 17 per 100,000 inhabitants in 2015 and over almost 30,000 enforced disappearances since 2007, an overwhelming proportion of crime in Mexico is focused highly within the lucrative drug trade. So yeah, one of those main issues, once you clear up, first of all, if the U.S. would make illegal drugs no longer criminal, we wouldn't have so many, well, actually, that's probably not even true. Scratch that.
I understand. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Make drugs legal. If you make drugs legal, it probably would create more. It it would just create a big business for it. Yeah, I don't think you'd have so much killing over it.
Yeah.
But it would be legal. I mean, if it was legal, then these motherfuckers would just open a goddamn skyscraper, and every floor they'd be processing cocaine, for their
Yeah.
fucking stupid noses.
All right. So now
But
let's talk
isn't that
about.
interesting how our border got so, like, think about that. The motto, right? Before, wasn't it something like give us your sick and your poor and your
Yeah.
fucking hungry or
The
whatever it
Statue of
was, the
Liberty.
asylum, the asylum shit, and I get it, man. That sounds awesome. But how many is too many?
Yep.
And
Well,
who's going to pay for all that? And what
and
about the
it's
people here? Do they have fucking jobs and homes and shoes
not
and
only that,
water to fucking drink?
even if you make all 11 or 12 million of them legal citizens, they're not going to start all paying taxes right away. It's going to cost probably billions of dollars to find them all out, give them all legal fucking stuff. Not to mention, since we talked about race earlier, we're going to talk about this rise in Asian hate crimes, which is Donald Trump's fault, even though he's no longer in office. And it's only because of white people, even though back in like 2008 in Oakland, all the crime against Asians was 85% done from black people. So, but that's 2008. So it's probably different
Well,
now.
though it is different now because of that shooting that happened in
Oh, that Atlanta
Atlanta.
shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was all those, and they're trying to say it was racially charged, but do we know that?
No,
Like, do we know that yet?
no.
I that's the thing. I don't know if I believe that necessarily. Maybe he had something against the people that owned all three of those places.
Yeah,
Maybe he
maybe.
did have something against Asians.
Um,
Maybe he had a problem with the way they do business in those kinds of establishments. You
very,
never know what
very well
drives
could be.
people. But if you're going to
Um,
sit there now and make it a huge big deal about the racism against Asians, that's crazy.
yeah,
I feel like they're perpetuating more divide when they say racism, racism. So what's the plan?
it's fucking
What's the
racism,
plan?
man. I don't know. But then let's talk about this human trafficking meets human smuggling at the southern border. Because as we just described, the drug cartels and all them, make a decent buck. So the nexus of human trafficking and human smuggling, two related but different crimes, is in the spotlight as President Trump stresses the need for a border wall to stop human trafficking. Human trafficking is defined by the United States State Department as a crime involving the exploitation of an individual for the purpose of compelled labor or a commercial sex act through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. Whereas the United States State Department says human smuggling, also known as migrant smuggling, occurs when a person voluntarily enters into an agreement with a smuggler to gain illegal entry into a foreign country and is moved across an international border. Whether voluntary or involuntary, both crimes endanger the powerless and raise human rights concerns. It is important to note that the nexus of human trafficking and human smuggling accounts for much smaller proportion of trafficking in the U.S. than popularly believed, counting for less than 10% of cases. This figure is derived from the Justice Department statistic that 50% of trafficking victims in the United States are U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. This statistic is mirrored in the state of Texas, and the IOM statistic that 79% of victims born outside the U.S. entered the country using legal ports of entry, thus accounting for U.S. nationals and foreign nationals entering through legal ports of entry. Overlapping between the two crimes resides in the remaining 10% of cases. Let's see here. They said, this being said, the southern border is a dangerous place. Vulnerable people who agree to be smuggled, whether they are trafficked or not, are often subjected to violence. According to a White House press release, nearly 70% of migrants traveling north of the United States are victims of violence. Since Mexico is the most frequent source country for foreign nationals identified through the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Data suggests that the nexus of human smuggling and human trafficking, thought probably less than 10% of cases, does center around the southern border. Human trafficking and migrant smuggling can be linked, for example, through the high costs demanded by smugglers, up to $12,000 per person for the journey across the border, leaving poor migrants vulnerable to a type of trafficking called debt bondage. This type of trafficking occurs when migrants agree to work off a debt they have accrued. Traffickers then continue to compound interest on other charges to what appears to be a simple employment agreement, trapping victims in an exploitative cycle of debt and forced labor. Even if migrants manage to pay the smuggler's fee, there have been cases where they still end up in the hands of kidnappers across the border and trafficked. There is a nationwide debate going on as to whether a border wall will help curb crime in the borderlands. President Trump says a border wall will drastically decrease illegal border crossings. This is me talking here, not reading the article, which we have proven is true because with Donald Trump's immigration policy versus Joe Biden, we had about 600 or 6,000 a day entering the United States, as opposed to the 1,000 a day when Donald Trump was in office, because they know they will be released into the United States if they are caught. So going back to the article, said which will help curb human trafficking and kidnapping along the southern border. Opponents of the wall claim that these crossings will happen anyway because smugglers already take humans and cargo over existing walls, fences, and ramps with drones and aircraft. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Let me read that again. Which will happen anyways because smugglers already take humans and cargo over existing walls and fences with ramps, drones, and aircraft. So they're essentially taking drones and flying shit over the walls. Smugglers also travel under the border via extensive tunnel systems or around the southern border completely via boats, submarines, and missiles. That last part didn't make any sense. So anyways, that last part just was complete bullshit. I don't even know what the fuck I just read.
Well, I'll just tell you that, especially along the southern border there, California and Texas, two of the highest for cases of human trafficking.
Yep.
And Florida too. New York has a shitload. Every state, like there's a whole bunch of states here that just have, like you're talking, like in Nevada, for instance, 7.5 per 100,000 people. You know what I mean? That's insane. And the majority of those people are
women and children.
Women, children. They say that mostly women and children. Between January 2008 and June of 2010, sex trafficking victims were more likely to be white or black, 26% being white, 40% being black, compared to labor trafficking victims who are more likely to be Hispanic, 63% Hispanic, or 17% Asians. So
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
But just saying,
if you're gonna pick a race to be a good worker, you got the Mexicans with the roofs, and you got the Asians with the railroad. So I mean, let's be honest here; they're picking good people.
And this is actually, these numbers and stuff. This is coming from World Population Review. So
yeah,
that's what they study all these things. So it's real interesting. I mean, you're talking like 1,080 cases in Texas, 896 cases in freaking Florida, 454 in New York. That's all trafficking. Those are the highest states, highest rates of human trafficking, and they're way higher than any other. Those four. And it's just crazy. If you look at the graphs, I wish we had a way to like put these graphics up and shit. They're kind of cool. It just shows you like every single state, and it just goes up, 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 and up, and it's all these border states. I
Yeah,
mean, with the exception of like Nevada, because it's not really on a border
but I mean, it's close
necessarily. But
enough.
I mean, you could diss a fucking pier in Nevada, man. All right. I mean, so
Yeah,
it's real interesting. Uh, Human trafficking is a fucking dangerous thing, man. Especially,
yeah,
and then it brings us back to why they're putting children in cages.
yep,
You know, in air quotes, cages. I mean, it's the facility, man. Come on,
yeah.
they can't all be Hilton hotels or Trump
Well,
Tower.
and actually, they're doing worse because with the new COVID regulations, they can't get as many beds in there, so kids have to sleep on the fucking floor.
Yeah,
Even though kids aren't at risk for coronavirus, although these kids
yeah.
might because they're probably malnourished and dehydrated from crossing a border. But so this goes to, let me give you my TLDR version of the border. If you build it, they will not come. Simple as that.
Or
The
or
reason,
they'll
go ahead.
do what they did during the Trump administration, and a lot of them, be, they were coming over. They were still coming, but they were coming slower because they were being turned away, but
Yep.
given a date. They were given a date to come back and meet, and they could or couldn't. You got
Yep.
to allow time for the system to work, right? That's what the Democrats and the freaking Republicans keep saying. Trust in the system. Da, 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 da. So
Yeah.
what the fuck are they bitching about? It's their policies that created the shit, right? I mean, they're the ones who all made this shit happen. It wasn't like, yeah, and now you got a guy in there who can't even freaking put his own goddamn pants on or hold his own dick to take a leak. And he's the one telling you what the fuck to do. Come
Yep.
on. Come on.
So here's my fix for this. You have all these people that are so sad about all these kids in cages. If you tell them not to come and tell them they will not be accepted into the country, you won't see sad and tragic images that they try to propagandize you with of a dad and a child dead in a river. The only reason that happens is because they get fucking told you can have a better life in America. You can, but do it legally. Come to a port of, and maybe we need to open up more ports of entry. And maybe we do need to make it easier to legally immigrate to the United States. That is a conversation we can have. We can have that talk. But no one wants to have that talk. It's, you're racist for not wanting Mexicans, or, hey, we need a stronger border. You can build a stronger border and talk about having better and more efficient immigration to the country at the same time. If you build it, they will not come. So to all these Democrats that are saying, you're racist for not wanting Mexicans to come to the United States, well, then you better bring all 42% of the population that is under the fucking poverty line, so that way we can give them all a better life, and all the fucks that are above that poverty line can stay the fuck there. You're not helping Mexico when you don't let the Mexican people fix their country. When you take their pissed off people that are pissed off enough to walk thousands of miles and risk being trafficked, killed, or sold into sex slavery just to come here and be essentially indentured fucking servants, you're not helping Mexico. You're not. The only thing you're doing is giving yourself more votes and giving the Republicans, quote unquote, the big business, which now is a big fan of the left, all you're doing is giving them indentured servitudes and costing taxpayers $134 million. It's not helping. The system is broken. And you can't just bring it up every 4 years. You have to do something. And in my opinion, the only thing you can do, weld shut that fucking border, put pressure on Mexico to take care of their cartels, to take care of their traffickers, to take care of their place. it's fucking sickening. It's fucking sickening.
I got a better idea.
Kill them all.
No, it's actually, well, that may very well happen.
The Congress people, not the Mexicans. The
Well,
Congress people.
I think, to be honest, the only way to help Mexico is to take a page out of Vladimir Putin's playbook and just annex the motherfuckers and take it over and make it the fucking 51st fucking state before, and call it the fucking, no, we'll call it the fucking Freedom Land or whatever the hell you want to call it. And then there won't be any fucking cartels. They'll be reduced down like the mob was and all the freaking biker clubs and all them are. It'll just be reduced down to little things and the government will be there. There'll be more jobs. We'll cultivate that fucking land. We'll make
Mexico
sure that
deserves to be a great country.
It
really does. And all that
Unfortunately, it's too corrupt to do it themselves.
Exactly.
So instead of letting all those people into our country, which is very overcrowded, why don't we just expand our country into theirs and just take it?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, we're doing that for free and we're not getting any benefit.
Exactly. If you want no border, if you want no border, fine. Kick the fucking wall down, bury it in a fucking ditch, and take their fucking government away from them because they obviously can't handle the fucking world on their own.
Yep.
So, what else?
Because otherwise, we're just going to keep having this constant battle of you're a racist and you're a fucking whatever the fuck. I don't know what the fucking Republicans do anymore. It's getting annoying. There is a problem. People are putting forth solutions, but you can't just let millions and millions of people flood into a country every year. Or 1 million people flood into a country every year. It's just not a tenable way of life. Especially, there's this other article I have here, which I'm going to read eventually, but I agree 100%. Either take over Mexico. My big thing, it's a pressure relief valve. It really is. Oh, Mexican government's a piece of shit again. Time to just pack up and leave to America. How does that help Mexico? How does that help us with what we should be doing? We should have a great North and South America. Those should be the two greatest countries in the world. Right now, all you have is America, which is pretty fucking shitty if you ask me, because you have all these daft fucking cunts. I like Daft Cunt because it reminds me of Daft Punk, even though I don't listen to Daft Punk. I just like saying Daft Cunts. So you have all these daft cunts that want to censor everything, cancel everything. You have Cardi B, who fucking admitted to raping people, men specifically, who is lauded as this great savior of fucking dumb country. I fucking hate Cardi B. Fuck that bitch. The stupidity of people. Fucking fuck. Daft cunts, man. Daft cunts.
What's funny is because I was saying we should annex Mexico, and I just decided to type it in to the search just in case someone already said that, and they did. In September of 2020. They only have 122 million fucking people, is what it looks like. That's what this says. 122 million people? How many people? Oh my God, that's it. Think of all that land.
Yeah.
It's like as big as the entire Midwest.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
It's a valid point. I don't disagree. I think one of three things should happen. The Mexican government should ask America for help to get rid of cartels and help with the government not being corrupt assholes, and help rebuild the country. Instead of rebuilding the Middle East, which we've bombed to shit, I legitimately feel like we owe the Middle East reparations. Like, not even joking. It's insane the damage we've done to those countries.
Yeah, but we gave them all the weapons to fight us, so don't
Yeah.
worry about it. They're fine. They know how to build their bombs and they know how to shoot. Don't worry. Well, they don't
So,
know really, but they do. We train them.
yep.
Proxy wars, buddy. And
Yep.
we can go and do a whole show about proxy wars in the United States government. But
Yep.
then we probably will wake up with bullets in our heads, or you'll wake up and hear that we have bullets in our heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the, we should either force the Mexican government to help us get rid of their cartels and their giant criminal underbelly. We should also help them. Like, if you look at some of these pictures from Mexico where they have shanty towns built on trash heaps, I mean, literal trash heaps, we, instead of endless wars, I'm okay with helping out the less fortunate. I mean, you have 42% of the people that are below the poverty line. We can do something about that, and we maybe should. So that way they stop coming here and they can build Mexico. Make Mexico great again. I'm gonna say that. Make Mexico great again.
Well, what about, like, I was gonna try to find it here, but what about, hold on, let me get my screen up here. What if you took all that fucking money that we sent over the fucking ocean
Yeah.
to all those other Middle Eastern assholes that don't really need any of our money because they got more goddamn money than God, which is saying a lot because the Vatican has a ton of money, dude.
Yep.
Or maybe they don't. They just have a lot of gold. But anyway.
And pedophiles.
Yeah, and pedophiles. Man, they're rich with those. Why don't we just send all them to Mexico? And then they can clean up the fucking streets and everybody can live happily, man. Anyway, no, you just take all that money that you sent over to freaking Pakistan and Sri Lanka and who else? Let's say Saudi
Egypt.
Arabia, Iran, Egypt, fucking Africa, the fucking slave owners down in South Africa, and give it to Mexico.
Yeah.
Because, and the only thing is, you'll never get rid of the corruption because they like the money too much. Think about it. It's so easy to grease one guy, It's so easy to freaking grease the wheel,
Yep.
Whichever way you want it to go, man. All you got to do is give them a little more than they got right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to read this quick article. It says, if liberals cared about immigrants, they would not support open borders. And I'm going to drag this over so I don't have to fucking read like a retard.
Yeah. Retard.
Yep. Can't say that word anymore.
I'll say it. Retard.
Yeah. So not surprisingly, members of the liberal media have little care for people who have to cope with these migrants or the border patrols who have to keep them or keep the peace while being pelted with rocks. All their sympathy. Jesus Christ, I can't read. All their
Mike Tyson.
Sympathy is extended to the migrants themselves, who are simply looking for a better life. Let's see here. Many people on the left tend to blame. I'm going to drag this over better so I can. No, stop it. Don't do that. Okay. Many people on the left tend to blame immigration laws and borders for illegal immigrants, because if you don't have a border, you don't have border walls and laws, rather than the lawbreaker themselves or the lawmakers also, because they're a big part to blame for that, in my opinion. They rail against ICE and the border wall and seem to believe that the most compassionate thing to do for people crossing the border is to let them in. Denying them entry and deporting them is needlessly cruel. Their argument works on the assumption that illegal aliens will find a better life once they are here. They'll find good jobs, own a house, pay taxes, and start a family. Their kids will grow up learning the virtues of hard work and go even further than their parents. Put simply, Ignoring immigration laws results in more people living out the American dream. For those even slightly acquainted with reality, as one can imagine, the less experience people have with the issue, the more they believe in this fantasy. Life for an illegal alien is often quite challenging. Most are abused and exploited by the people who smuggle them into the country, as we explained earlier in that one human trafficking article that I read. If they are lucky, they can work for a callous factory owner or farmer who will exploit them further. If not, they will sponge off family members and loiter at gas stations looking for work. If these options don't pan out, they will make their money through legal means and join a gang. Their kids, through legal citizenship, thanks to birthright citizenship, meaning if you are born here, you are a legal citizen, will often inherit the same struggles. This doesn't include the cost of illegal immigration to society, which provides health care, housing, education, childcare, and legal services to illegal aliens, which, as we described earlier, is around $120, $130 billion a year, which a border wall is about 4,812, which is about a third of the price. Even though immigration advocates claim that illegal aliens do indeed pay taxes, the dollar amount pales in comparison to the cost of many services they receive. In light of this, liberals have moved even further leftwards, objecting to the idea of borders altogether. They don't aim to reform immigration laws, which, me talking here, which if we do reform immigration laws, making it easier to come in the country would also be less of a burden to the border, because that way you wouldn't need to cross in to be a citizen. You could just be like, hey, I want to come here. What do I got to do? Blah, 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 blah. 2 years of waiting in line and boom, you're a citizen. As opposed to the 8 or so or 9 or so or 10 years and thousands of dollars you have to spend now. They hope to eliminate them and allow any person to come into the country, again, for the sake of finding a better life. This is ridiculous. If borders were erased, the effect would be disastrous, making the effect of current illegal immigration seem negligible by comparison. First, the massive influx of new citizens would strain government resources, leading to more crime, less support for the poor. Second, it would flood the market with cheap labor, which is that supply and demand. If you increase the supply, you no longer have a demand, and the demand then becomes, depressing the wages and increasing unemployment. Third, it would result in a magnitude of poor, unassimilated immigrants, aka ghettos. Together, this would lead to a highly unequal, crime-ridden society where the rich would live in gated communities with their own private security, and a large mass of poor people would live in rundown cities desperate for intervention, all of which is a recipe for aristocracies. Sorry. Nope, that's not the right word. I fucking can't read. Basically, socialist uprisings is essentially what it would lead to, which is kind of what we see in Mexico already. Massive poor people and the rich living in gated communities. Those who are skeptical of this scenario... Oh, fuck, I didn't even need to say that. It says that in the next sentence. So the next very sentence is, those who are skeptical of this scenario need only look at the nations south of the border. The very places from which the current immigrations are seeking asylum, corrupt governments and drug cartels relentlessly prey on the masses, while the rich elites either live outside the country or build bigger walls for their fortresses. If these countries seem too distant from the American experience, one can see this transformation in progress in Europe. Because the arrival of migrants from Asia and Africa, the ghettos are multiplying, governments are strained, and crime has risen. The compassion Europeans had for immigrants is quickly evaporating as many voters suggest stronger borders. Jesus, this is a long article. All right, we're gonna keep pushing through. Despite all of this, one might still claim that the alien is better off. at least in the short term, before the developed world crashes into penury and dysfunction, which may be a few decades away, but judging from the resentment and restlessness of aliens, even they aren't happy. And why should they be? True, they have a higher quality of living, but they and their children live as second-class citizens with little economic and social mobility. Every new blessing they enjoy in their new country is a reminder of their dependency and inadequacy. It is, instead of adopting an attitude of gratitude and responsibility, many will double down on the helplessness and look for an easy solution, which is basically going to usher in communism and socialism, because it's just a giant vote farm, as we discussed previously, for the Democrats, who are a bunch of communist cunts. That was me talking, not the article. If people truly cared about the immigrants, they would stop protesting immigration law enforcement and stop funding caravans. Rather, they would seek to reform current immigration laws, where the cumbersome and counterproductive, their goal should be to encourage the influx of people who can contribute to society, high-skilled and willing to assimilate, and discourage those who cannot, low-skilled and unwilling to assimilate, which I actually disagree with, because that's one of those things where if you take all their doctors and their engineers and their scientists, then you don't leave that society with any doctors, engineers, and scientists. So you're essentially scavenging off their upper class, leaving them to wander and squalor even further. So I don't actually agree with taking their high-skilled and leaving their low-skilled. I think you kind of need a mix of both. So anyway, with better laws, there will be less excuse for those who chose to break them as they do now. Furthermore, people who care about immigrants should support secure borders and law enforcement. Allowing so many people to cross a border illegally and showing them amnesty through so many executive orders creates an irresistible temptation for other foreigners to do the same. It's also a slap in the face to those people who go through the laborious process of becoming a citizen, which is actually insane how many legal Mexican immigrants fucking hate illegal immigrants. It's actually kind of funny. Therefore, the best course of action...
They had to work hard to come here.
Yeah, they had to go through that bullshit process.
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah, it's just insane. Therefore, the best course of action would be to eliminate this temptation and act justly towards those who come here legally versus those who do not. If this seems to do too little for the poor immigrants who now have no hope of entering the country, then those concerned can seek to help the poor in their own countries. They can donate to charities, they can do mission work, they can speak out against corrupt dictators and socialist regimes, or even better, they can invest in these places and alleviate their conditions through free market capitalism, a system that has lifted billions out of poverty. Let's see. Where the fuck did that go? Oh no, I lost it. There it is. This is actually a lesson of the parable of the Good Samaritan. Few people seem to observe that the Good Samaritan takes the beaten man to an inn and pays for his stay. He does not take him home and make him a lifelong member of his family. He trusts that the man will recover, feel grateful, and go on about his life. Instead of well-meaning people trying to bring in, they should find ways to help them where they are, so they have no need to come to America for a better life. And that goes back to the Make Mexico Great Again. Reforming immigration laws, securing the border, and providing aid and investing in neighboring countries will also have a benefit of forcing their government to reform. They will realize that they cannot deal with the poor by sending them north, which is essentially the pressure relief valve we were talking about, but by taking serious measures to root out internal corruption, secure property rights, which if you read John Locke, his big thing was life, liberty, and property, and provides basic services that empower citizens. Such a world enriched by borders may seem like a hopeless dream, but is far more realistic than a global utopia without borders. Feelings have dominated immigration for too long, and all of it has only led to violence, exploitation, and confusion. It's time to approach immigration rationally and take a clear view of those affected by it. If this is done, Americans can finally practice real charity to outsiders while taking care of their own as well. So, just a nice little article of.
It's very interesting though, because I mean, Mexico though, unless someone really does something about it, it's not going to change. We're always going to have people coming over the border. It's always going to be controversial. It's always. I mean,
yeah.
Short of a fucking war breaking out over the border and it being something like the goddamn Berlin Wall, where it's like, oh, open borders, you can just come here now and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You don't see people breaking into Mexico, right?
No, because you'll get your
Why
fucking hand
not?
chopped off and you'll
Because
be
you'll
thrown in
probably
jail.
get exactly, or you'll probably fucking end up getting kidnapped by what is the fear that most Americans would probably be like, oh, that someone will kidnap me, they'll stuff me with a bunch of drugs and send me back to America.
Yep.
Like, nobody wants that.
Yep.
So
Well, there's
and
plenty of things that we can do. We just and I didn't think about it. Take the emotion out of the argument. What would be a net benefit for both countries? Obviously, having a 42% poverty rate is not a good thing for a country. So we're doing no service to Mexico by letting all their people that are ready to start a revolution enter the country.
yeah, because they'll just try starting that shit here. And then what about the motherfuckers that slip through, that the good, hardworking, honest people are trying to get away from, right? What
Yep.
about the people that come through that are not good for anybody?
Yeah.
Because
Or
all they
the
see
four.
is, oh, look at all these fucking people I can fucking rip off. I can do this. I could do whatever I want. Look at how big this place is. I can
I mean,
hide everywhere.
there was a story of a guy, a business owner, who hired a bunch of illegal immigrants, said, I will pay you at the end of the month. And then he called ICE on all of them and got them all deported, so he didn't have to pay a single fucking one. Like,
That's so fucked up.
we wouldn't have that issue if we didn't have fucking illegal immigrants here. Because they, unfortunately, and I don't know how the Constitution sees this, but they are not afforded our constitutional rights. Which,
right, they're not.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Citizens of the country.
Yeah.
Well, they're not citizens of the country, so when they come here illegally, and now with the whole HR1, is that what it was called? That new law, or HR2, or whatever it is, with the voting laws. How many of those motherfuckers are now going to be able to use their fake ID to go in? Because they're going to still check IDs, but
HR1 doesn't allow. It no longer has what is it called? You don't need voter ID anymore.
Verification.
Yeah, so you could just go vote.
Oh, just anybody goes and votes.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
This is dumb.
Voter registration of minors. I mean, I want to do a deep dive, but I don't want to read this. How big is this fucking bill?
It's like 6,000 pages. Who the hell wants to read that shit? I don't want to read it. I mean, maybe we can read it and then do a show about it, but shit's insane. Oh
God. Yeah, dude, this thing is fucking huge. But basically, what HR1 does is it would allow.
It basically eliminates all of the vote verification of identity verification, doesn't it?
Yep.
So you can
You
just
no
go
longer
and vote.
need. I think the main things are you no longer need signature matches. You no longer need, or you are not allowed to ask for an ID. It does not allow you to purge the voter rolls, which the voter rolls are what is used for mail-in ballots, which, by the way, now they're giving universal mail-in ballots. So if you live at an address and you move, they will send a mail-in ballot to your old address. It's just, it's insane the amount of
It's not
basically
good.
all the hallmarkers of fraud. And this is just the very first to expand Americans' access to the ballot box, reduce the influence of big money in politics, strengthen ethics rules for public servants, and implement other anti-corruption measures for the purpose of fortifying our democracy.
Rigging it.
Yeah. As we discussed in a previous podcast, the Times Magazine article, fortifying democracy by having Bill Gates and fucking Mark Zuckerberg give it's. We live in fucking.
I'm never gonna let it go. I'm never gonna let it go.
We live
I'm
in
never gonna
Clownland.
let it go because it was such a good move by them. They played a perfect game of chess.
Yep.
And meanwhile, the American people were so stupid and blind to it, and they fell for it. They were like that. They were like the little fucker that thinks he's winning at Connect Four, but the whole time you're just like, dude, you're so stupid. You don't even see it. Bang, Connect Four, done.
Yep.
It's sad that this is where we are.
Yeah, this is where we are. This is the America
But that's
we're
okay.
living in.
All we need to do is annex Mexico. We take that land,
And
we build it, we make it great.
again,
We never give it back because our government never gives anything back.
nope.
But we make it great, right? And then look at that. Our country's humongous. We build a huge military base down there to fend off the freaking South Americans.
Yep.
Because we don't need none of that bullshit.
Yep.
Plus, then we're that much closer to what's that country? Cocaine country there.
Peruvian.
Colombia.
Oh,
Colombia. Yeah, Peru's a little bit way more south, but
is it?
My Colombia
geography is
and
not
all
good.
that. No. But think about that, man.
Yeah.
We take that whole son of a bitch. And the US could do it. Who's gonna come over here to freaking help them?
What's
Nobody.
Canada gonna do?
Canada's not doing shit.
Yep.
Canada's freaking calling us going, come on, guys. Just say you're sorry and just leave them alone, eh?
Yeah.
You fucker.
Well, I believe that's about the end of the podcast.
Is that all your articles?
Yep. That was all of them. That was
Cool.
all of them.
Oh, it's funny because you really did do a deep dive on immigration. I thought I thought there was going to be racist rants happening, because we're white guys.
Yeah,
we established last time that we're white guys, and I thought that all white guys, all we want to do is rape women and
be racist.
talk about and be racist and talk about how racist we are when we talk to each other.
I actually like to go after black women to rape, so that way I can rape them and be racist at the same time. Probably went a little too far there. Too far. But I will not apologize.
America. This is what the fuck America. So, I mean, you say whatever you want, man. It's your podcast, too. Fuck them. If you're offended, we're not sorry.
Hey, man, you're the one that took offense to it. You're the one that, not you, Matt, but the person, the two people that are going to listen to this and never make it this far into here, you're the one that took offense to that. I did not give you offense. You took offense to that.
Yeah. Give it back to me, you fucking thief.
Yeah. You apologize to me for being offended.
Yeah.
I'm offended at your offense.
Fuck your offense. Your offense.
There was a guy. He was talking about. He was doing an abortion joke on. He's a comedian. He was doing an abortion joke on stage, and he was like, I did this abortion joke on stage once, and this lady came up to me and after the show and said, you really shouldn't joke about abortions. I've had one, and the guy goes, "Geez, I just joke about abortion. I think what you did is much worse because she killed a fucking baby."
She killed a fucking baby. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, I get it.
but
Yeah.
anyways, now that I've
Oh.
criminalized myself by being a rapist and a racist, this is What the Fuck America, and we'll catch you guys next time.
What the fuck, America?
What the fuck, America?